Wednesday afternoon, and you know what that means. Ringside Heat is on the air on News Talk Saga 960 AM, your favorite podcatcher, and on Fridays on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lex Tan, host and producer of this fine wrestling talk radio show. It is a week and a half before WrestleMania. Well, 8 days away, not even a week and a half, 8 days away as of this broadcast, and lots to talk about here as we head into WrestleMania week. But we also have to talk about and argue a little bit about what happened at AEW Dynasty, because Colin's was on the stream on Sunday night with our good friend Peter Atkinson, and they had a great time watching that stream. And there are some criticisms that have been going around the internet, so we want to talk about that right now.
Get ready to defend it.
Yes, exactly. There you go. Speaking, yes, putting your dukes up like that, I like that, because I remember Toni Storm in her match coming out before that as the whole Rocky Balboa thing. That was freaking awesome. I love that.
Oh, we'll get to it. That was a major highlight.
She's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. So that's Colin Dodge at Risen72. We got Jose Tabuada. We've got our director of digital content at Tabuada93. Also follow his Blue Jays, his Blue Jays blog, Jats on Base. Collins is Ken Jiracast, his Godzilla podcast, and Coco collects, that's his handle, Chico Nugid. He is our wrestling memorabilia expert and collector. And these are the three on the panel with me talking wrestling this week. So let's get into AEW Dynasty. Colin,
hold on 1 second. Just to let you know, Mr. Tan, you said 8 days away as of this Wednesday broadcast.
That's what I want to correct as well.
As of the broadcast,
I consulted the judges and did some math, and it is Jose, verify this for me, but we are 10 days away from WrestleMania.
Yes, from the radio broadcast, we are 10 days away from the grandest stage of them all. But from the YouTube release that we do every Fridays at 3 o'clock Eastern on the Ringside YouTube channel, 8 days away, which is what the graphic here on our overlay usually reflects on the Friday release, not the Wednesday, because these episodes go up Friday. Jose's been thinking about this for the last since the Royal Rumble, friends.
Very nice, Jose.
Just in case.
The rule is eventually we're correct. Don't worry about it. Yeah,
exactly. A clock is right twice a day.
So yes, thank you.
Sorry, a broken clock is right twice
I was
a day.
ready to clarify that myself, because Lex did speak heresy. So thank you, Chico, for helping correct the right way. Lex, back to you.
Got it.
Awesome. All right, and so AEW Dynasty, that was last Sunday. Again, Colin Dodge, Peter Atkinson, they did the live stream. Thank you so much, guys, for a great broadcast and stream that you guys put on for the listeners and the watchers of Ringside Heat online. So let's get right into it and talk about, just run down the card, the results and everything, and we'll talk about the different things that happened, and all those other things.
First and foremost, I haven't been paying attention to this, but we got up to 77 viewers, and so thank you all for stopping by. I don't know if that's a record yet. In case it isn't, let's do 78 next time. Not WrestleMania, that's 2 nights, that's very difficult, but we've got Double or Nothing on the way. Anyway, so enough about that. Yes. Oh, and of course, Stephen Hollywood hanging out the whole night. That was great chatting with him. Blaze stopped by towards the end, and so yeah, it was always great to have them coming by. Some of our regulars for our live stream. So
definitely,
thank you very much, fellas. But yes, fantastic. Another solid, fantastic pay-per-view that I enjoyed very much. I didn't have a low point. To be fair, I didn't watch the first pre-show match, so maybe that was the low point. I have no idea. But I did watch the second, which was fantastic. So anyway,
Colin,
yes.
Colin,
yes.
Did that match that you miss, did it involve Big Justice at all? Because I don't know who these people are. But
no, shockingly, not on the card this time.
No Rizzler?
I guess the advertising deal fell through. I'm not sure.
Really were no low points then. Wow, good on them.
Oh, right.
Good on them. Nice.
But to start off the night, as far as I was concerned, again, I didn't watch the very first thing. Anthony Bowens coming out with another. He debuted because Max Caster was doing yet another open challenge. Anthony Bowens returning with a brand new gimmick, new gear, still got Billy Gunn at his side, and absolutely crushed Matt Caster in a very hilarious, very entertaining squash match.
40 seconds.
40 seconds. It was wonderful, and Max Caster is doing great, being the top jobber of the thing. When he does win a match, it'll be insane, and whoever he beats, their career will be over. But anyway, so we then opened the main card with Jose's favorite Assassin's Creed player, Will Ospreay, and he did defeat a very impressive Kevin Knight. This is kind of, well, a new person for AEW, only about 4 years in the business, as Peter Atkinson let me know, and but is known by Jay White and Will Ospreay, and it was a great way to open up the Owen Hart Cup tournament. So, of course, Will Ospreay advanced almost 14-minute match. It's great. So if you want to see somebody brand new who definitely held their own against Will Ospreay, you can definitely check out that match. I would recommend it.
That was a really good match as well. I was very impressed by the way that Kevin Knight was able to hang with Will Ospreay toe-to-toe.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, Philadelphia was pumped. They were ready for this pay-per-view, and they, was it the Hype Brothers? They stayed hyped the whole night. Yeah. And yeah, so that was really good. Next up, we had
Did you just make a Mojo Rawley reference?
I did, because, again, I remember everything. And stuff that
even the stuff that we forgot.
Yeah, stuff we forgot. Exactly. Yeah, Mojo Rawley. Yep.
They hyped.
Internet champion was his partner. Now, so next up, we had Hurt Syndicate defending their belts against the Warning Tree, specifically Big Bill and Brian Keith. The best Brian Keith has looked in a while, but of course, Hurt Syndicate won. They're not going to be losing the belts anytime soon. Probably their next big opponent is going to be FTR. We'll get to that later. Next up, finally, since her debut in AEW, I finally saw the Sasha Banks of old. This was an absolutely incredible match. The promos coming up to it, it was the Sasha of old. Mercedes Moné, I think, has finally figured out whether it was a rhythm she had to get back into. Peter and I were talking about this a lot during the match as well. Perhaps it was Julia Hart, her opponent. Julia Hart looking like $1 million at the end of this match because she would not submit. Mercedes Moné was putting every submission she could think of on her, and Julia never submitted, and it was finally Mercedes getting her in a pinning predicament where she was able to retain. This was the opening of the women's Owen Hart Cup tournament. So yeah, Mercedes Moné is in the tournament because she wants the other women's belt, because she only has 4. And that's not enough. She needs 5. So, because that's what we do. We collect belts from wherever they can find them. Next, there's going to be like the replica ones at Walmart. She's going to have those around everywhere else. But
that's the thing. A lot of the there's a few of the indies. I mentioned this before. A few of the indies that I've been around. I've seen women in the indies carry like 4 or 5 belts to the ring because it just looks fun. It just looks really fun to have all those belts.
It just reminds me of 2K games.
Really good
that's what you could do in 2K games. You could eventually just earn all the belts and then look crazy as you try to do an entrance with 15 belts hanging off you. But now it's real life. Because we know wrestling's real. It's real to us. 13 minutes, absolutely great. My big worry was that Julia Hart would look weak in that match. She did not.
Yeah, she did not at all.
They both elevated each other. So I'm hoping Julia Hart goes after Mercedes at some point to get her TBS championship back, but we'll see. The World Trios Championship. Everybody forgot Death Riders still had those belts, but Rated FTR did not. Again, the continuing breakup of Rated FTR. And it all came to a head tonight because you see, whenever Adam Copeland joins a faction, eventually they kick the crap out of him. Judgment Day did it, and so now.
Hey, Christian did it initially. Christian did it initially in 2001, right here in Toronto.
They weren't a faction though, yeah. So, but
stable.
So Edge is on vacation, let's say, after suffering 2 concertos. FTR full heel. It was amazing. It was great.
Is he off filming another season of my gosh, Percy Jackson? Is that
No, he's in the hospital getting neck surgery. I don't know. No, I'm sure. I don't know what he's doing next. Sorry, I was going with the narrative. It's what FTR wants.
Well wishes to Kevin Owens, by the way. I know
yes, definitely well wishes to Kevin Owens. That broke my heart learning about that.
Also, well wishes to Orange Cassidy, since we're on the AEW train of thought as well. He's on the shelf for injury.
It could be for a while too. I don't think as long as Kevin, but still for a while.
What's he got? What's the injury?
Shoot, I think it was something that was like I forgot. Wow. I just saw injury and I thought, damn it, he's like one of the, aside from him and Mox, are like the best workhorses in the community, right?
It's believed that he suffered his pectoral muscle. We all know.
Oh, he tore up.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We all know. We
that's
know
right. It was during his last match. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Last match. Yeah.
We know we know the history when it comes to torn pecs. So yes, definitely a speedy recovery, but that will be a while.
That'll be a while. But yeah. So yeah. Anyway, Death Riders, of course, retain the Trios Championship. Because I don't know who else is gonna come after them next. Doesn't matter. But yeah, so anyway, it was a fun match, but again, it was the result, and it was yet another beating of Adam Copeland, because sure, why not? He needs some time off. Next up, one of the matches I was absolutely waiting for, possibly best match of the night. It's a contender. There's another one that's a contender. Of course, it was Timeless Tony Storm with Luther defending against Megan Bain, who is being accompanied by Penelope Ford. Before the match even started, you know what, Darby, your little intro movies, garbage now. Tony Storm has now taken over for your little entrance movies. Yes.
Agreed. 100%. That was amazing.
It was a Rocky tribute. It was absolutely brilliant. And Luther came out and he was Mickey. Complete. He came out as Mickey. I could just hear him saying, "You're a bum, Rock," and I loved it. Loved it so much. The match was also fantastic. They beautifully continued the story of how the hell can Tony take out Megan Bain, and by the skin of her teeth, she did, and it was great. It was smart to keep Tony retaining, but yeah. 15 and a quarter minutes of just gold, absolute gold. So yeah, definitely watch that.
Great athleticism by Megan Bain as well. I mean, like, when I saw her, I'm just like, okay, this is another Glamazon. My goodness gracious.
It's a speedy push, but like she's fantastic though. So it's not like a wasted speedy push. Not yet, anyway. Yeah.
I saw a little bit of her on Collision, and just checking it out a little bit on Max, because you can now. Man, she moves like really nimbly, like for. She's a real tall person, but she really flies around well. And it's the right kind of stature to be giving someone an F5 as a finisher.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And she does them really well. It's not like we need to do an F5 and it's not something she shouldn't be doing at all.
Sorry, I should call it by the appropriate name for her move. Is it full descent or something like that?
Full descent, something like that. Yeah, there's a lot of
an F and a D.
Just reminds me of like all the stuff with Wonder Woman's lore, where she came from the island. I forget that too, but yeah.
Now, do you think it's the best result happened here, where yes, this person is credible and could have been believed to defeat Tony Storm so soon, but do you think this was the right call?
I think so, because the main story with the tournament is that Mercedes is coming for that title. And the better match, if that happens, if Mercedes does win the tournament, the better match is her and Tony, not her and Megan Bain. So,
yep, and it doesn't make sense with the All-In, like the name of that event in Texas. So I guess that'd be kind of cool if the two of them go champion versus champion, or champion versus champ, or whatever. However many belts Mercedes has.
So then she'll be quintuple Mercedes, possibly. I don't know. Sure,
maybe.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Well, that's 5. Come on.
Sorry. Just go, Colin. Just
go. Yeah. Anyway. So because the finals of the Owen Hart tournament will be at Double or Nothing, and then the winners of that get to challenge whoever they want at All In. That's
okay. There you go. Okay. Yeah. That's what I was missing. Yeah. Thanks.
So next up, fantastic match that didn't need to be, and also I think really could have been on Dynamite. Actually, probably should have main evented Dynamite just to kind of lessen up. We did get to 10 on the main card, so we did hit the double digits. But Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe still absolutely killing it, and Kyle Fletcher's still doing better and better, relishing in his heel role as part of the Don Callis family and everything. It went 16 minutes, 15 seconds, and it was really good, but there was no belts. It was an Owen Hart Cup tournament quarterfinal, but could have been on Dynamite. It didn't really need to be on the card, but it was still very good. Next, we had Bandito challenging once again Chris Jericho for the Ring of Honor World Championship. This was their third match, and it was mask versus title. And an absolute upset. Chris Jericho won. But then they realized he used a bat. Bandito's family called over Aubrey and said, hey, he used the bat. And so the ref that was actually reffing the match, he goes, know what? No. We're restarting this match. We're not doing it that way. And Bandito finally defeated Jericho and is your new Ring of Honor World Championship. So if that's what is bad reffing is upsetting everybody, I just don't understand. To me, that was good reffing, where people in the crowd can say, "Hey, you got it wrong," and then they listen. So yeah,
So on that note, this is what Jimmy Corderas, friend of the show, did say on Busted Open Radio. He said he weighed in on the respective match finish, which he described as an ish painting. I'm trying to play devil's advocate here and think, well, if the referee in the back saw Jericho use the bat, then I could maybe say I'll let this one slide. But Aubrey came out and she didn't see it either, Corderas said. She took the word of a family member at ringside, so what's to stop her from going to the announce desk to go to any other fan in the arena, go to the concession stands and say, hey, did you see that? And while I'm at it, grab some popcorn. It made 0 sense whatsoever. They don't care. They're just throwing everything at the wall. It's gotten to the point now where something needs to be changed. Some structure needs to be implemented with the officiating. What do you think? What do you think about what Cordera said there?
That's interesting. I mean, look. From the sports perspective, okay, because what's like it's I'm a baseball watcher. What's stopping me from trying to call a umpire? Hey, buddy, that was a strike or so. I don't know. I kind of get the point, but. Also, suspension of disbelief normally occurs with wrestling. It's like you come up with there are a lot of silly things in wrestling. That you for like 9 out of 10 times you roll with it. You just go okay, and yeah, you'll always bicker about if it made sense or not. But I feel like a purist of wrestling will say, roll with it. Just suspend the disbelief. This is just the way it goes. But I kind of get it. I kind of get why that's been said.
Okay. It's a scripted event. So right. I think any comparison to I'm going to use the word actual. Bring it. An actual sport. You can't compare them. It's two different. One is not scripted. One is. I'll answer with this. The experience that Peter and I had watching this match, we knew going in, Bandito had to win. Jericho has done his job trying to get as many eyes as possible on Ring of Honor. Mm-hmm. And so this is the third match. So Bandito needs to win. When that first finish happened, Peter and I admittedly, and you can watch it on YouTube, we admittedly got sucked in and said, oh no, they're leaving it on Jericho. Why? The transition to Max, to HBO Max has already happened. Jericho doesn't need the title anymore. And while we were talking about that, that's when all that happened, and we were happy that, oh, great, they're reversing it and continuing the match. Now, where we did it all talk about, well, who should have been watching on the monitor in the back and who should, why didn't they go to the... We were happy Jericho was going to lose it because he's done with it now. So that's, yeah. I don't question the reffing, and that doesn't matter. It was the story. So it was great. We had fun, and we were relieved that he lost. So, and we enjoyed the match. It was also a good match. Yeah, about the little how they were at A, how they got to B and C all the way to D. It's not keeping me up at night. I don't know. Okay. I love you, Jimmy, but it was not a concern for me. So yeah,
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
not,
it'll always.
Yeah,
the
big picture doesn't matter.
I'm so sorry, Colin.
Sorry.
I think it's always going to be I think the concern there from the people who are within the industry that do speak out about this stuff once in a while, because I hear it once in a while, and most of it, it happens in all companies. It's just it seems to have stuck out more from AEW for some people. I can't speak to that because I haven't been following the product closely, so it's not coming from me. But I do understand like preserving the integrity of the framework of this predetermined product that we have, just to tighten certain screws so that like people so that it can't be risked to be dismissed as it's just pro wrestling. Why do I have to invest in the story if they don't care to tighten this screw or that screw? That's just what I see from why certain people insist on maintaining the role. Like, let's say a ref couldn't like the finish was like a 2 count, but the guy got knocked unconscious, so the ref should really be counting to 3. Things like that, and like the ref actually stopping. This happened recently, I think, where I think Priest was knocked out. Damian Priest was knocked out, and then the ref did 1, 2, and then stopped because that was the predetermined finish of the match. But it just looked really wonky live on the show because, accident, because Damian got knocked out for a second.
I mean, who can forget the trio, and specifically this trio here of anger at the Royal Rumble with Penta. So it's to Chico's point.
I'm still correct. Be careful. I'm going to get angry again.
You're not going to like Colin.
Here's one.
Tread carefully, my friend.
The only thing I'm just thinking of is just it's that moment, the accident, and to Chico's point there, I don't know. It's intriguing. I guess it depends on where you stand and whatnot, but
right. And how sort of like the angle you're consuming it from too, because Colin and Peter enjoyed it anyway.
Exactly.
Right? And it is unusual, so it's always going to be kind of partly subjective, at least, right?
Yeah, it's like I said, I honestly I think like there were maybe quote unquote bigger concerns, and I feel like that moment to me, I know I would have said, okay, well that's just the way that they're going to run the story. It's okay, like let's see what happens next. And
we've seen more egregious things too. The Attitude Era. Attitude Era was chock full of weird no counts.
Also, like WWF
out for like 20 plus counts outside, and it wasn't like a no DQ, that kind of stuff. Attitude Era all the time. Okay.
Oh yeah, and WWF No Way Out 2001, Rock versus Kurt Angle, and Earl Hebner absolutely botching the 3 count that was supposed to be on Kurt Angle after a rock bottom, and the Rock had to actually actually had to basically berate Earl Hebner on camera, and then do another rock bottom and tell him to count it 1, 2, 3. So
yeah, I just understand Jamie's point of logic, because if it happened in this situation, then you got to apply it elsewhere, and if it doesn't happen elsewhere, then why is it? I don't know. It's I guess, like I said, suspension of disbelief. I think at the end of the day, I don't think this is. I'm kind of like with Colin. I don't think this is that big of a concern. If anything, I will say I'm surprised we spent a lot of time on this.
Yeah. Well, I'll say one last thing on it. Then is I completely understand the concern of it. As for that being, it's not a load-bearing screw to be tightened, and just keeping it, and not of them. Now, not to say this is not the only flaw AEW's had; they've gotten better, but keeping AEW early on, everybody forgetting what the stipulation actually is in a match that's happening and that kind of thing. Refs being really bad at looking at the thing they're not supposed to be seeing when somebody is cheating or a foot on the ropes, but clearly it's in their eye line and not reacting accordingly because they're supposed to not have seen that. So those are the things that are enraging, like completely filming both feet hitting the ground and saying it didn't happen. But anyway, so
that was the Rumble.
Those things are enraging.
All right, we're back.
But yeah, so like I say, yes, I agree with the concern for sure, but I don't think this is the one to be concerned about in pertaining to what the match was and what the match was doing. So, but yeah, I understand the concern.
Before we get into the last few matches on the card over here, and before we go to break, I do want to ask something about something of you, Colin, about the improvement in the AEW product. it was recently revealed that Bryan Danielson is part of the creative team over at AEW now. Do you think that might be one of the reasons why the product has been getting better?
I mean, it's not like he would hurt it. So, yeah, I would definitely say that's probably why it's better. But, I mean, you've heard me talk through all of the 2024 pay-per-views, and it's continuing with the 2025 pay-per-views. They are absolutely solid pay-per-views. There's only been really the one instance of Swerve and Hangman's match ending so poorly that it enraged me. Again, I get enraged a lot sometimes. And it pretty much ruined the pay-per-view for me a little bit. Because everybody is apparently a vampire from the CW network. So, so that was really the only time. But yeah, as a more solid product, I mean, the ratings are gaining with Dynamite this year. It's becoming a more complete and identifiable. You can look at it, and without maybe logos and sound, you could probably figure out it's an AEW show. You know what I mean?
And I hear their TV product is also becoming consistently better. It's
Collision,
not just
especially
throwaway stuff.
Collision was in a limbo after Punk left as well because of what they were doing it with Punk there, and then they had to retool everything after that. But yeah, Collision is definitely this proper B show for sure, and I think it helped not doing Rampage as well. Just they were splitting between 3 things instead of 2.
Yeah. Ringside Heat on News Talk Saga 960 AM. We're going to go to break. After the break, we come back and we'll talk about the rest of this card. And I've got actually something that didn't enrage me, but it gave me a little bit of concern and stirred something up in me that I'd like to talk about, especially when it comes to the what happened after the cameras went off the air on Dynasty. When we come back on Ringside Heat, News Talk Saga 960 AM, back after these promotional considerations.
Under all the lights, with only everyone, he's looking for one single face.
And welcome back to Ringside Heat on News Talk Saga 960 AM. Lex Tan alongside Colin Dodge, Jose Tabuada, and Chico Nugent. This big anniversary this week for a few of us who have gone to who were in Philadelphia last year. This week was the 1-year anniversary since we John, Jose, Chico, myself, David Morisuti, and John's family as well too. We and
cousin Harvey.
Yeah, exactly. Chico's cousin Harvey all went to WrestleMania for that 2-night extravaganza, which is WrestleMania 40, and had the time of our lives. Just watching wrestling, being amongst 72,000 fans each night in the Link over there at in Philadelphia. It was a beautiful 2 days, if not cold, but it was quite warm in the arena, especially when Cody won that championship. And I will say this again, for somebody who did not like ring announcing, Samantha Irvin, my goodness, did you touch our hearts?
Yeah, I mean, that's why Chico, if you're watching on YouTube, that's why Chico and I are wearing our WrestleMania 40 caps that we got. And Chico brought up something in our group chat, which I guess I didn't really pick up, in that in the anniversary of my first WrestleMania, it was the COVID era Mania, right? No audience or nothing. So so at the time, it felt like, wow, I feel it feels a little bit more special knowing that I was like at a Mania with, like, with a big crowd, when the next time it's going to happen. And just grateful that we had a Mania that year, and also, of course, being grateful that the dream came true. But this time around, I know now the crowds are back, obviously, and I think this time around for me, watching a Mania, it's going to be a little weird because, again, I'm going to wish I was in the stands, but prices say otherwise. But
yes.
I mean, a year removed, and I'm still happy that the dream came true again. So it's fun to commemorate it. But for you guys, I know it's a different story because it was your first. So I can only imagine what you guys are feeling. Well, maybe
gosh, you've felt the same first time sensation. Yeah. So I mean, more than just imagining, of course. I will say, like, it's a trite thing to say, but I couldn't ask for a better first live Mania experience. I mean, the whole show was pretty dang good. Like, I will say the card was good. From a live perspective, not having watched it back fully yet, actually on PLE, broadcasts, I still remember the show being pretty darn good, start to finish, both nights. I had a great time watching it, like in person. A lot of trying to warm ourselves up on night one, like that kind of stood out because man, that really almost killed my vibe. But it was also the first time I saw WrestleMania live, so it kind of balanced itself out a little bit. And yeah, and I'm just glad that that bucket list item finally got checked off. But just like Jose said beforehand, you're gonna want to go again, and I do want to go again someday. I'm not too hopeful about it coming back to Toronto anytime soon, just because of the size of stadiums they like to do, and I don't think we have anything like that on the horizon in the GTA. So sure, we're gonna have to go to different places at this point, maybe Indianapolis in a couple of years or whatever it is. Who knows? But I mean,
just have to wait to see when WrestleMania lands on April 7th, and then I'll go to that one.
Right, that's the sign for you.
Because if I see those dates, I'm like, well, there it is. I'm going back because WrestleMania 35 was April 7th, and WrestleMania 40 was second night was April 7th. So to me, I'm going tradition. But
before we get back into the AEW talk, I will say that attending WrestleMania last year, to sum it all up, it was a level of happy as a wrestling fan that I had never experienced, and that was special. I loved it. I would jump at the chance to do it again if I had the money to do so. Hey, you know what? And I'm hoping that as well that this is a kind of thing that people who do go to AEW All In week this coming July over in Texas, maybe like for the AEW fans, I hope that they have a similar experience with that, because they're treating this year's All In as a WrestleMania week. So hopefully the experience will be good for the AEW fan, just as it was for us who favor the WWE side of things. So speaking of AEW, let's get back to that card, and Colin, take it away.
Yeah. So then next up here, sorry, I was just looking up some details. Okay. So next up we had Adam Cole. Adam, what did I put him at? He's Adam number 3 now?
I think so.
I think I demoted him to 4. 3 or 4. Because I think, that's right. I switched him with Hangman. Hangman got bumped up to 3. But anyway, Adam Cole defeated Daniel Garcia as he is now the new AEW TNT Championship. A really great match. I was not interested story-wise into anything that was happening here. Daniel Garcia, his run with it is just ho-hum, he didn't bring anything to it. Certainly nothing that Cody did or Cope did or anything like that. So it was good to get it off of him and maybe move him off to something else. And Adam Cole needed a belt by now. Undisputed Kingdom needs somebody with gold. That's not the Taven and the other fellow who I've escaped right at the moment with the
Bennett.
ROH tag titles. Bennett, thank you. Yeah, see, they're mostly in Ring of Honor, so out of sight, out of mind. I forget your name, unless it's something from like.
Oh, but I can't forget Bennett because of the amazing theme he had with Maria Kanellis when they were in WWE last.
That's true. Yeah,
I love.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Can't forget
So
him.
like I say, sorry. Yeah, it was a good match. 15 minutes. Yeah, it was good. The right thing happened. They did the respect finish, and then it was on to the next thing. On to what I think should be in the conversation of one of the better 3-way matches, triple threat match, trios match, whatever you want to call it. Kenny Omega retaining his AEW International Championship versus Ricochet and Canada's own Speedball Mike Bailey. I don't know anything about Mike Bailey. I didn't know anything about him. He's very accomplished and all that kind of stuff. I am now understanding all of the hype, and especially what Peter's told me and what everybody else has told me about how good this guy is. This is a great match. Watch this match. Ricochet was amazing. Kenny was amazing. Speedball. Names. Speedball was amazing. 31 minutes this match went, and it did not feel like 31 minutes at all. It was fantastic. So, and then to end the match, after it was all said and done, who comes out to visit Kenny? Okada. So we definitely know this is going to end up, well, we don't definitely, but I assume this is going to end up being a unification match at All In, I'm sure, with Kenny with his international championship and Okada with his continental championship. So It's the only teasing I could understand happening here.
Now, the question I have for you is, as some of the reviews have come in, that things did not breathe between the end of that match and by the time Okada came in and made his appearance over here. How did you feel the pacing was?
Define, what do you mean didn't breathe?
No, I think what Lex means is that I think I also heard the same thing, that they didn't really let it breathe, and it's going to be hyped up eventually when it does come down the pipe. Omega versus Okada, of course. Those are two iconic names for fans of New Japan and yada yada. But that is something that AEW was months ago anyway, trying to figure out how to do better, is to let certain segments breathe. And I hear the face-off wasn't necessarily given that much time. And then it just kind of cut to the next thing. I don't know.
I don't know if it was given that much time or that's all how much they decided to do. I don't know. It didn't seem disjointed to me. So
okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nothing took me out of that at all.
Cool.
So I don't know.
Cool.
Maybe I'm not as good a fan as I thought I was. I'm not seeing all these innuendo things that are flying people into rages. I'm not sure.
I mean, sometimes
I'm getting mad at the wrong things.
I mean, sometimes you may not even need something grandeur, right? Even if it's something small, just to give the idea, then okay, fine.
Yeah. It's not like they needed a face-off and needed to be separated by security or anything like that. It was just,
we know the history.
Hey, don't forget me. I mean, Okada hasn't been on TV in a little bit.
Oh no, I don't know the history, see, but you guys do.
So no, I know, but that's what I'm just kind of generally answering to everybody listening. Yeah, not just going, hey, Chico, why aren't you watching? And you don't have to. I watch it for you, so it's okay.
Cool.
And then finally, we had Jon Moxley versus Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Championship. And I do think Swerve should win one day, but I didn't think he should have won on Sunday. Because I think the dethroning of Jon Moxley should be on their big show, and that's all in Texas. And I don't mean on Paul White. So anyway, So what happened in this match? Kind of a lot of people showed up towards the end of the finish. Of course, the Death Riders showed up, and the Ops showed up. I don't like this name, but I do like this new faction of Samoa Joe and Hook and Shibata. They showed up as well to clear out the Death Riders. So, try to lessen the shenanigans that, of course, were going to happen. But yeah, Jon Moxley retains once again. He, again, by the skin of his teeth, he got out of there. I know a lot of people didn't like this finish. I know a lot of people are ready for Moxley to not be champion anymore, but I still like the narrative, and it's where AEW people can't get their act together to focus properly. Even Hangman was out there kind of shockingly helping Swerve. So they're already backing up right into Swerve and Hangman again. But yeah, so I don't know if they're going to be building up somebody else to go after Moxley at All In, or does it become a triple threat with Swerve and Hangman now too? So I like that I don't know. I can't place what's going to happen. That's kind of my favorite thing. It does remind me of Reigns, Punk, and Seth. I don't know how that match is going to go. Any one of them winning makes sense. So I don't know, but I was fine with the finish because I don't want Moxley to lose before All In. But I get why people. I don't think Death Rider thing is landing like it is. The transitioning Copeland out of there seemed very quick to me with that rematch. That everything they did in that rematch should have happened on Revolution, not days later on Dynamite. But yeah. So they're really trying to stick the landing with all this stuff, but I think it was correct that Mox still has the title right now. I mean, the briefcase. We don't know if he has the title. He might have lost the title. We don't know. It's just a briefcase.
Ringside Heat on Newstalk Saga 960 AM. We'll be back after these promotional considerations, but we will be talking about what Swerve Strickland did say as the cameras went off the air, or after the cameras rather went off the air, and it stirred up it stirred up a little bit of controversy as well too, as wrestling fans and wrestling wrestling personalities do. I mean, hey, this whole business is controversy creates cash. Thank you, Eric Bischoff, for that book. Anyway, we'll be back after these messages.
Under all the lights, with only everyone. He's looking for one single face.
And welcome back to Ringside Heat on News Talk Saga 960 AM, YouTube on Fridays, and your favorite podcatcher any time of the day. Lex Tan at Lex Tan Media, Ringside Heat at Ringside_Heat, alongside Colin Dodge at Risen72, and his Godzilla podcast at KenjiraCast. Jose Tabuada, Director of Digital Content at Tabuada93, as well his Blue Jays blog at Jets on Base. Congratulations to Vladimir Guerrero, $500 million, 14 years here in Toronto, baby.
I cried.
Yes.
He chose us.
He did.
He actually wanted to stay. That's crazy. Oh my goodness.
Take that, Kawhi. Anyway.
He honestly, yeah.
My God.
Whoa! Even I understood that, and I am.
Folks, this is a wrestling podcast. I can't get into. I will derail this, but I am very happy. I cannot. I was awake when now I'm talking about it. I was awake when the announcement dropped, and God bless us all in this great city of Toronto.
Hey,
all right.
And he's Canadian.
He is.
Yep.
Canadian, born in Montreal. So
yes, he is.
Good on you, kid.
Mm-hmm.
No, but seriously, I'm excited. We'll see where it goes, and it definitely made this new adventure super more exciting now than what it was a week ago. So,
yes.
What a time to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
But back to wrestling.
Yes, and Chico Nugget at Coco Collect, wrestling memorabilia expert and collector, with his John Cena toy belt there, spinning the WWE symbol, and and that is always a fun toy to have. And the actual full size belt, which I guess a couple of us hope to have one day. And that's also a lot of fun to play around with. But something that was just insane this week over here, especially at the end of AEW Dynasty, was the words of Swerve Strickland as he addressed the Live House after the show went off the air, in a response about what Booker T had said. Let's see what Booker T had said about he himself, Booker T, said he was treated fairly in the WWE, and because Vlad, when Swerve Strickland was on this show called Vlad TV, they asked him about Booker T saying that he had been treated fairly for 20 years, and he does not want to talk about race and all those identity politics or anything like that. And Swerve responded that he was not treated fairly because Vince McMahon called him the N-word during a live Monday Night Raw. And so when Swerve Strickland took to the microphone on Sunday night after his match, and what happens in AEW after matches when you get the microphone right after main event matches. Whew. Let's see, where is that right there? It's I bookmarked it right there. He said, "I know there are some upset fans leaving for the doors into your cars to go home, and I understand. I feel for you right now. If you can just calmly wait, share these last couple of moments with me, because I don't know if I'll ever be back in this World Championship contender moment after the EVPs are back." So that's the first thing. He buried the EVPs. No matter what you feel about the Jacksons and how they run things in AEW, you don't bury your bosses like that. You shouldn't really bury the EVP.
Yeah, it could be kayfabe, dude.
I was gonna say it. Don't worry about
it. I'll quickly just come in. What I forgot to mention was the big surprise in that final match was the return of the Young Bucks.
That's right.
Who landed a V trigger on Swerve, which helped John win. So I would take that part as kayfabe. But anyway. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Cool. And so basically, he went after he mentioned the EVPs, he put over the product, All Elite Wrestling, saying it's the best freaking wrestling. And tonight, you saw the absolute best compete for the AEW World Championship right in front of your very eyes. He talked about his career of 13 long years ago, and getting to travel all the way up from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, all the way up to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where his career really skyrocketed. He put over his fans, he put over the company, he put over his family and everybody who supported him. Beautiful words. Loved it. But then he started going about the whole representation thing here, and he said, and then he went and ended it off with, I always want to hear y'all chant "Whose House." Thank you for being here. Thank you for the merchandise. Get home safely. And one last thing for my own amusement: F Booker T. And again, it's one of those things where you don't need to again reference somebody from another company, and just because you disagree with Booker T, I think in this sense, him saying F Booker T after Booker T said, look, I don't want to talk about race. I don't want to talk about all of this politics stuff. I was treated fairly by WWE. I earned everything I got. And look where I am today, basically. And basically saying that, like, Swerve Strickland, maybe he could have done a little bit better in WWE, or he could have, been better, for lack of a better term at the moment, during his WWE tenure. But then Booker T did take the high road and said, and just said, hey, you know what? He said that, fine, but am I going to trust him with anything going forward? Probably not. So, the words are actually the words for Booker T. You can actually find on a lot of these wrestling websites right now, and so, but the fact that, like, he just he said that about Booker T, who he could have even Booker T even could have said, could have even agreed that he should have been the one to beat Triple H when he faced them for the World Heavyweight Championship back in 2003. He could have said that, but no, he didn't. He took it like he took the job like a man, and he turned. I mean, like, from there, that could have been a time that Triple H could have, quote unquote, buried Booker T. But he took that and he kept on working. He kept on respecting the business. He kept on respecting the people in the WWE. They gave him the King of the Ring. He ran with it, became one of the best kings that WWE has ever had. And, he continues to be an entertaining force and giving back to anybody who earns their spot in the wrestling business, in the WWE. And that's something that I respect about Booker T so much, which I think is maybe lost on Swerve Strickland at this moment.
I'll start this off. I don't want to speak about the details of the argument. It's not my place, especially regardless how many reasons, basically. It's kind of funny, that somebody's trying to tell somebody else, hey, listen, you weren't, like, your feelings are invalidated, but it's their own feelings. I think that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't know the further details, and like I said, even if I did, especially with the nature of the argument or the topic of the argument, I'm not gonna get into those details. I just don't, in my opinion, I just don't think it's the right idea. But yeah, there's a high road to this, and I think there's a healthy way of bringing up each other's promotions on the shows. I think if it's in promos, I say go for it at the end of the day. I mean, yes, in my opinion, I think AEW did it a lot with WWE, but hey, you know what? It got people talking. So as much as I may not like it, you know what? It's working. So who cares what I think? But I think after the show, it's such a, I don't know. To me, it seemed a little tasteless at the end. It's let the focus be on the main event, on the show itself. Don't give a reason to pivot away, even if it's for a brief moment, to pivot away from the show itself because of what was said after the fact. In a non-kayfabe environment. So I don't know. I'm not crazy on it. It is what it is, I guess. But again, I don't like that this is such a focal point, because I think the focal point should be, yes, like Colin said, the frustrations of people being angry that Mox retained, or other people's gripes that the World Championship actually hasn't been on TV in 7 months, and that's a little weird.
And it should exactly, it should be on the content of the show.
Yeah, but again, like the argument between them, the disagreement, I'm not at a place at liberty to give an opinion on that, because I especially about Booker T's booking in the 2000s. That's just me though. But yeah, I didn't like the end of it. I didn't like the phrase, but I've heard worse.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll say, like, of course, their opinions and feelings are always valid. I think their kind of conversation could have been behind the scenes. None of this had to be on air on any of the shows on
they should never have been.
Show.
Yes.
Yeah, like, so none of that need to happen. As for it being this absolute overshadowing everything else, honestly, I didn't know about it until you guys were talking about it in our chat. Because obviously it wasn't broadcast after the pay-per-view. It went to black, and Triller said, thanks for enjoying the show and whatever. And then I turned it off and went to bed. So I didn't know about this until kind of later. So I don't know that it's, the greatest or, the biggest story to happen, that kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, and it's in a world where Punk went on podcast for 2 hours the last time. And, I don't think any of that should have happened, even though that was kind of entertaining. But it's just, it's what they think is what they think, and that's absolutely fine. And it's, I don't know, I'm not going to let it didn't distract me from anything. As the terms of bringing up other promotions all the time, that like almost never happens now. Because yes, it was the thing to do to start, because you want to be as controversial as you can with the new kind of thing, but it's, and I don't even see that as like, I'm going to drag WWE through the mud. I think it was just, he was retaliating, just going, oh yeah, I'm going to mention Booker T now, but I understand people don't like it and all that kind of thing. Again, I'm going to say my new favorite catchphrase. I don't think it's that big of a deal, as in it's ruined a product or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't think any of it should have happened.
Oh, no, for sure.
To me, this is airing of dirty laundry. These two should have, I think, just had a conversation among themselves. But
that's the thing, is that like that's the thing. That conversation, yes, it should have been off the air. It should have been behind closed doors. And the fact that he first of all said it, for my own amusement, F Booker T. That is just it's like, okay, now you're going into business yourself.
Yeah. Anyway,
but I mean, honestly, is that worse than taking the sledgehammer to the Triple H throne? I mean, that's the way of saying the same thing without saying the actual words.
I think,
like, just to compare that, and I'm not saying anything that Swerve said before that. I'm just saying those three words, F, word in the name, F Booker T. Yeah. Is that worse than any kind of other shout out to the promotion going, or I don't know. It's not needed. It's not necessary, but is. Yeah.
I think I only really have one thought on it, because I don't like, I did hear the headlines. I kind of pretty much told Lex about it too, but at the end of the day, it's just, if you're trying to continue growing your brand, you probably don't need to give free publicity to the other guys. I mean, that's it. That's only thought I really have. Because then
that's how people have learned about WWE, is what Swerve just said on Sunday. They didn't know about WWE before.
Yeah, no, I know, but I mean, like, it'll get a couple of eyes to kind of like go there. Oh, what's Booker gonna say? You don't need to give them like your perceived.
If that's what you're watching wrestling for, watch another show. You should be watching wrestling for wrestling.
But anyway. Some people will, though. That's the thing. So I mean, I'm just saying, Swerve didn't need to do that.
Exactly. And
that's it. That's all I can really say. There's nothing else I can say.
Yeah, none of it needed to happen from either side.
Yeah, and I guess the thing that pisses me off about the situation is that, like, Swerve is a great talent that earns his spot where he in AEW, and the fact of the matter is that, like, had he not said this, he could probably have gone back to WWE one day without having to do it with his tail between his legs.
Assuming that his ultimate goal
is to go back to WWE.
That's a dangerous assumption. Why would you want to go back?
And
You can't just assume WWE is the mecca for everybody.
Right. Well, no, exactly. But the thing is, it's not, he may not want to go back there. He may wait. He may very well want to go back there. And there's got to be these things that got to have to be talked out. And it's like, biting the hand that feeds you is not, or that could potentially feed you is never a good idea to me.
Well,
personally.
Punk's doing fine right now, so I'm sure he'll be fine if he wants to go back.
Yeah, this isn't going to ultimately hurt his chances.
Yeah, Colin said it himself. Cody destroyed the throne with the sledgehammer on an AEW pay-per-view. Punk hated everybody for 10 years. Bret Hart got screwed. I don't. This is respectfully, this is not one of those things where I say, boy, it just cost his chances. When there's been far worse situations that have been settled.
I'm not saying that it won't be settled. It's not I'm just saying it's not a good practice to do it.
Yeah. Well, we got past that about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, we got but I just think I don't know. I wouldn't have. To me, I wouldn't worry about his chances to return, because if you're professional enough, you understand that business is business. I don't know. That's in my opinion, Lex. I don't know if that was the right thing to say, because again, I've seen far bigger disagreements be buried for the sake of business and professionalism and carried on, right? Warrior, the list goes on and on.
So those names are big names right now.
Exactly. Anyway,
Swerve isn't that big right now. As big as those names.
To put a button on this, dude, I think we all kind of agree that it just was, it was a tacky thing to do on a microphone with thousands of people listening, but ultimately it'll pass.
Yeah, exactly.
That's about it, really.
Again, to be honest, I think I forgot about a couple things, and again, Dynamite's gonna happen. Everybody's gonna roll on. It's just another day in the world of professional wrestling.
Of course, it's
gonna be slipped under the rug.
If one thing back years ago was not the apocalypse of wrestling, then nothing is. So then nothing really is going to be. So, but you know what? I honestly think that was like a small. Yes, it was a blip. A small blip, but it was a blip on an otherwise really, really good show from all the things that I was able to catch with it. And you know what? And you know what? I'm with Colin on this as well, that AEW Dynasty really was a success overall. A really, really good show. Completely. And the more they do this, the more they do this, especially with with your Tony Storms and and the great work that she's been doing. My goodness gracious. They're on a good trajectory right now, and AEW All In is going to be a lot of fun for the AEW fan.
Go watch the women's matches and watch the triple threat match. If you're only going to watch 3 matches, those are the matches to watch. Go watch it right now. Stop this, whatever you're listening to. Go watch it now. That includes you, Chico. Get out of here.
10 days till Mania.
And Ringside Heat, a News Talk Saga 960 AM. This last segment was edited for time, but you'll be able to listen to the entire segment in the podcast version, which drops in just a few minutes on our podcast providers, on your favorite podcatcher, and as well on YouTube on Friday when this goes up. In the meantime, though, we will be talking WrestleMania next week, and our predictions and everything that in leading up to the big dance for the WWE. Thank you to Colin at Risen72 at KinjiraCast. Thank you to Jose at Sabuada93 at Jats on Base. Thank you to Chico at Coco Collects. Thank you to you, all of you listening on the radio and in internet land. You can follow me at LexTan Media, follow the show at Ringside_Heat, and we remember the things that you probably forgot.